Hello and welcome to Bridges and Beacons, our midweek devotion that catches a glimpse of our lives together as we continue to follow Christ's call to be a bridge for Christ and a beacon of his love. Today I am with Justine, who has recently come back to be part of the DPC community and calls DPC her home. So welcome, Justine. So glad that you could join us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So Justine, I'm really grateful that you could spend some time with us. Can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I was born and raised in Buckingham, went to CB East, Hong Kong CB East, and then I went to college in Sarasota, Florida, art school, and then moved to Los Angeles for 5 years to work in the film industry and had my time with Disney and Marvel and Stars and HBO and all those fancy schmancy places where you get your television from, and had some success, but ultimately I miss my family. Matt Frank is my older brother, Melanie Frank's my younger sister, Jan and Bob Frank, who've been members of the church for a very long time. So I moved back, and now here I am kind of starting my life over a little bit after like 4 or 5 years. And I currently work at Accenture, big consulting firm, and but my passion lies in gardening and storytelling and camping. And, I even just locally signed up for a colonial reenactment, super, super nerdy. Feel free to laugh. So yeah, looking forward to kind of getting my feet wet after all this COVID stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Way to just dive right back in. So during Bridges and Beacons this season, we're exploring this mission statement that we have, what it means to be a bridge for Christ and a beacon of his love. And when you come down to it, it really is about Christ being more compassionate than anyone can even imagine, and being compassionate in places that are unexpected. And so I was wondering if you could just share a little bit about a time that you were in awe of compassion shown.
So I do actually remember one particular instance, and this was happened in Los Angeles. Um, I had just got a brand new job, working at a production company, and this was right around the time my grandfather got sick, my dad's dad, and we didn't think he was going to last for too much longer. And this was a period of my life when I was paying off those lovely student loans, and so I didn't exactly have spare change to drop $500 on a last minute, round trip flight from LA to Pennsylvania. And I mentioned it, I guess, to my boss out of passing. And the next thing I know, they bought me a round trip flight. So I could see my grandfather, and I got there just in time to say goodbye to him. And that was overwhelming for both me and my family to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is an overwhelming and unexpected kind of compassion to be able
Hope I
to
can pay it
feel that.
forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another story for another time. That's for sure.
That's all right. Yeah.
So here's another question. Do you have any advice for others to be a bridge for Christ and a beacon of his love?
Yeah, I think I'm going to paraphrase a quote from Gandhi, which I'm sure many people are familiar with, to be the change that you want to see. And I just find that to be an incredibly motivating quote for me phrase for me to keep in mind as I walk in my faith journey. I don't want to just talk the talk. I want to walk the walk. I want to get my hands dirty. I don't want the credit. I just want to do it because I know the credit is not important to me. Christ was not a conformist. He was a nonconformist. And I think those of you who've known me since I was a kid can probably generally agree that I kind of fall into that category as well. Which is probably why I find such a deeply personal connection with Christ, because, I don't do things I'm a square peg and I don't fit into a round hole. And I think Christ as a carpenter probably would generally know what to do with me. And I think the way to do that is by action, is by doing, is by inspiring others to follow their own path because, that's inspired by Christ. So I think that's my advice to you, is to not be afraid to pioneer and forge your own path in the light of Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing that quote and a person who inspires you as well. Well, Justine, thank you for being with us today in this capacity. And I know that hearing your story and the people that are watching this are going to be inspired to be a future of a bridge for Christ and a beacon of his love. And I wonder where that will take them this week.
Thanks for having me.